furious fourth quarter rally comes up just short in Flagstaff. How's everybody doing? I'm Jay Elsen, and this is Coyote Quarter. With the bye week behind them, the USD football team returned to the field last Saturday as they took on 22nd ranked Northern Arizona. Let's take a look at the highlights. The J. Lawrence Walk-Up Sky Dome decided the first ever meeting between the Coyotes and Lumberjacks, and early on, it would be a battle of the two defenses. First quarter, NAU quarterback Kyron Poe fires under pressure. The pass picked off by Tevin Foster. First career INT for the freshman, and the Coyotes take over at their own 46. USD would go backwards from there, and on 3rd and 29, Josh Vandermotten underthrows Ben Kramer, and Anders Battle makes him pay for it. 19 picks it off, picks up some blocks, and takes it back 49 yards for the touchdown. Third INT return for a touchdown in the last two games for the Lumberjacks, and it puts them in front 6-0. While the offense continued to struggle, that improved Coyote defense continued to strut its stuff, and Tyler Starr led the way. He sacks Poe on the final play of the first quarter, and he would get him again early in the second. Starr moves into second on the all-time list at USD with 22 sacks for his career. That was his 11th forced fumble, which is tops among active FCS players. The Lumberjacks offense finally would break through before the half. Poe finds Dejan Walker for a 20-yard pickup, and they're inside the USD 25. 3 plays later, All-American running back Zach Bowman polishes off the drive with a 3-yard touchdown. The Lumberjacks going to the half up 13-0. Coyotes got the ball to start the third, and they were on the move until bad luck bites them again. Vandermotten loses the handle. It falls right into the hands of Big Mark Thompson, and NAU takes over at its own 34, and they would again make USD pay. Poe caps a 10-play, 66-yard drive with a 14-yard scoring strike to Dejan Walker. The extra point was blocked, but NAU still led 19-0. That's when the USD offense began to come alive. After the teams traded field goals, the Coyotes start to attack through the air. Fourth quarter, 1st and 10 at their own 25. Vandermotten all kinds of time, and he's going to find Terrence Terry deep down the middle, 63 yards on the play, and USD is in business. 4 snaps later, JVM finishes things off with his feet, bootlegs left, and wins the race to the end zone for a 2-yard touchdown. 2-point conversion failed, and it's 22-9 NAU. After the defense got a stop, USD needed another quick strike, and they got it. Vandermotten with another picture-perfect pass, this one to Nick Meyer. That covers 54 yards to the NAU 37. That tandem would hook up again later in the drive. Vandermotten to Meyer for a 6-yard score. First career touchdown for Nick Meyer, and against the Yotes within 6 with 2:54 to play. Unfortunately, the rally would end there. Coyotes can't come up with the onside kick, and Bauman and the Lumberjacks would make sure they did not get it back. Bauman went for 151 yards on 22 carries, and NAU holds on to hand the Coyotes a 17th straight road loss by a score of 22-16. Couple of notes for USD. Josh Vandermotten with his best passing day of the season. He finished 13-28 for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He also led the team in rushing with 18 carries for 63 yards and another score. Nick Meyer, just pictured, had his best day as a Coyote altogether. 3 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. USD outscored NAU 16-3 over the final 14 minutes, but it was just too little, too late.
I'll start playing hard, playing confident, and we gotta find something that's gonna make us come out the gate like that, because we can't wait that long until it's panic time. So we're gonna really soul search and find something to make us come out like that.
Obviously we'd like to see that a little bit earlier in the game, but being early in the season, it's nice to see that we are able to play 4 quarters, and I think the offense, there's a lot of plays that could have went our way too. Josh had a little mixed up on that throw and ended up getting an interception, but little plays like that, or we got a bad holding call, and like I said, our offense is capable of doing great things, and it's just those little things we got to sharpen up, and hopefully the score will switch around in the future.
We got back in the game and just a little too late, and I'm sorry, that's That's where it was last year, and we got to get closer. We've got to win a game on the road someday. Somehow. Haven't done it now in like 3 years, I don't think.
All right, plenty more to come on the Coyotes' narrow loss to Northern Arizona. We'll have more from head coach Joe Glenn in a bit, but first, Midco SN analyst Andre Field will stop by to talk about Saturday's storylines. That's next on Coyote Quarter. All right, now that we've seen how things played out on Saturday, it's time to dig a little deeper into that tough loss at Northern Arizona. For that, we bring in Midco SN analyst Andre Fields to talk about Saturday's storylines. And Andre, want to start with the offense, or frankly lack thereof, early on in this game. Coyotes couldn't get anything going against that tough NAU defense. Just 7 total yards on 24 first-half plays. -1 on the ground. That was rough.
Yeah, it is rough. And now, if you're Northern Arizona's defensive coordinator, it wasn't rough. It was exactly what you wanted to do. You wanted to make USD one-dimensional, and they absolutely had them flustered, had them one-dimensional in that first half. And you see what happens. You can't get anything going when the defense knows exactly what you're going to do.
And that zone read dive, something that the Coyotes have thrived on here in the first couple of weeks of the season, that was not there. And to force them not only to be one-dimensional, but force them into an area where they have struggled with the pass,
right,
really kind of brilliant.
Yeah, exactly, because they know they wanted Vander Maaten to beat them with their arm, but they're going to tailor their secondary calls so that doesn't happen. And so when you know that they can't run the football, then you can kind of pin your ears back in the secondary. That's what they did to USD in the first half.
All right, well, the offense struggled. The defense kept USD in this game, and Tyler Starr led the way. The senior picks up 2 more sacks, gets him 22 for his career, forced another fumble. Teams are game planning for number 11, and they still can't stop.
Well, that just shows you how good of a football player that Tyler Starr is. But as you mentioned, overall, the defense, I mean, that is exactly how you want to play football and keep your team in the game. This is actually now the 3rd week where the defense has shined, which was kind of a soft spot last year. You can see that they got things shored up. Now we just got to get the offense to catch up.
One thing with Tyler Starr is we thought, as Kian Lagi, who's emerged after a fine freshman season, continued to progress as a sophomore, people are going to have to start paying more attention to him. Of course, that's only going to free up Starr, and he's reaped some benefits from that already.
It's kind of what we had mentioned during that first game, Jay, is when we said that when teams key on Starr, other guys have to step up and make plays. Well, of course, if they're stepping up, then they're going to have to switch their offensive calls to stop them, which will free up Starr. So it's kind of pick your poison right now.
All right, one thing that really hurt USD on Saturday was those turnovers. Coyotes gave it away twice. NAU turned that directly into 13 points. It was a pick 6. And then they scored off that turnover to start the second half as well. And the Coyotes have been pretty good in this department through the first couple of weeks, but it burned them on Saturday.
Yeah, and turnovers hurt any football team at any level. Why? Because if they turn them into points, that's instant offense. That's more possessions. That's what happened here for USD. And, of course, it did set the offense back a little bit because now they're really thinking, I got to hold on to this football. They're not executing at 100%.
And never do you look at it more closely than you do when you end up losing by just 6 points. All right, some good news in terms of the passing game, though. After struggling in that department, as we mentioned, for the first 2+ games, the Coyotes may have found something late against NAU. Their 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, both of them set up through the air.
Yeah, and they had good receivers that stepped up and made plays late. As we mentioned, both Terrence Terry and Meyer had 3 catches for just about 70 yards. I mean, that is positive that you can carry into next week. So I'm pretty sure that Wes Bashana is going to take a look at that game film, see what happened here. How did we get these things off and going here late in the game, and see if he can then bring that to the first half next week.
I mean, and so we talked about the struggles in the passing game. There were so many things that factored into those struggles. One of them was just hanging on to the football. There were some drops early again on Saturday, but as you mentioned, when it got late, when it was crucial, they made the catches this time.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to have to do going forward, because you have to be two-dimensional. You have to be able to throw the football out of this spread offense. And so if they can get that going, Vander Maaten's a great passer, but like you said, there's just the little things there. His numbers weren't bad. In the second half, they were actually very, very good. Build on that. Get the running game going again, and then you'll be able to win some games in Missouri Valley.
All right, fine. Let's talk about the character this team showed. They could have quit when they got down 19-0, but they didn't. They rallied. And if nothing else, that gives them, as you said, something to build on into going into this Western Illinois game this weekend.
Yeah, confidence is something that they came into the season with, and we saw it there. We needed to see it there so that they have that going into the Missouri Valley Conference season.
And I think it's a difference between this year's team and last year's team.
It
And granted, they were frustrated, especially by the end when the close losses continued to mount up. It's easy to get deflated.
Right.
It's early yet. That could still happen. We don't know what's going to happen the rest of the way, but this is a good sign.
A very good sign. It's a sign that we had to see as Coyote fans to know that this is going to be a team that's not going to fold. They're going to keep punching you in the mouth even when they're down.
All right, that is our take on Saturday's game. And when we come back, the head coach will give us his. Joe Glenn joins us next. And welcome back to Coyote Corner. Jay Elsen joined now by head coach of the University of South Dakota football team, Joe Glenn. And Joe, coming off the bye week, you head down to Flagstaff, Arizona for what was a pretty important non-conference game for you against the Lumberjacks. You certainly wanted to get the ball moving in the right direction. Unfortunately, at the end of the game, it wasn't where you wanted it to be.
Hey, we played a good football team. On the road, 2 time zones away. I said a couple weeks ago it's going to be hard for Cal Davis to come in here and whip us 2 time zones away, and they didn't get it done. It was a close game. We made it a close game late, but we didn't get out of the blocks on them. Defense played pretty good throughout the game. Punting game was great, held them at bay. They averaged, I think, starting on their own 30-yard line all day long. But in the end, we were just short by 6 points and didn't finish.
All right, well, let's take a look at how this thing played out a little bit. Early on, it was a defensive battle between both sides, playing very well on that side of the football. And you guys got a big play from one of your freshmen. Devin Foster steps up, gets his first career interception, gives you guys pretty good field position. Only problem was couldn't take advantage of it. And not only did you not take advantage of it, they come back, pick it, take it to the house, and they get the lead.
Yeah, we got the ball at our own 46-yard line. Tevin Foster made a great leaping interception. And then on first down, we rushed for 6 yards, and they call guy on the backside for holding. That instead of being 2nd and 4 on the inside the 50-yard line, we go back to 1st and 20 on their own 36, and that thing just went dark on us.
What happened on the throw? It looked like Josh just underthrew Ben Kramer a little bit.
Yeah, it is a fade route, and Josh didn't throw it out far enough, and had a safety roll over the top he didn't see, and he ended up making an easy play on it.
All right, so they get the lead 6-0 after a botched extra point. But from there on out, throughout the first half, it started with the Tevin Foster interception. Before that, even Emilios Davis had a sack on 3rd down to get the defense off the field. But that unit was making plays consistently in the first half. And Tyler Starr, once again, number 11, lead the way out there. A couple of sacks for him again.
Well, in the end, Tyler had seven tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 2 breakups, and 1 quarterback hurry. And he sold popcorn at halftime. So pretty busy guy. We're real proud of the way he played. And unfortunately, we didn't score enough points early in the game to take advantage of his great play.
With that, with those 2 sacks, Tyler moves into 2nd all-time at USD with 22 for his career. Also forced that fumble. Kean Lagi recovered 11th forced fumble for him. That's tops among all active FCS players. That's pretty impressive.
This guy will mess up your team. He's a really good football player. We can't do anything with him, and he's really fun to watch. If you ever get to one of our games, he's really a fun guy to watch. 100 miles an hour every play. Something's going to happen. Tough football player, great guy.
Their offense, well, it struggled, finally got something going toward the end of the half. They moved down on you, 10 plays, 85-yard drive. They cap it off. Zach Bowman with a 3-yard touchdown run. And they go into the half up 13-0. But one offensive touchdown, considering where things were at and how your offense had struggled, you had to be okay with that, I would think.
Yeah, and they devastated our running game. And so at halftime, we had to figure out something different. We tried to hang with it, and we just took turns messing it up. It wasn't so much, they've got a good defense, but we missed a hit, we missed a hole, we missed a block, we missed a read on our zone read type stuff, and just took turns and got out of sync. But I thought we made some adjustments at halftime, and with 18 minutes left in the game, we put 228 yards up on the board and 16 points, and actually got within 6 points of winning the game with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, let's talk about coming out. You guys got the ball first to start this 3rd quarter, and you got moving a little bit. Picked up a couple of first downs, and then an awkward play with Josh on 3rd and 2. Looks like he was trying to maybe toss it away, get rid of it. It ends up coughing it up, and NAU recovers. They take it down then and score a touchdown, get up 19.
Yeah, he'd like to have that one over. It's just unfortunate that he thought he'd shovel the ball to a fullback. It's 3rd and 2. We could probably go for it on 4th down. We're on about the 30-yard line. Like to have that one back.
And like I said, they go down, they get a 14-yard touchdown pass on their ensuing drive to Dejon Walker. It's 19-0. It stayed that way into the 4th quarter. And this is where you guys, even toward the tail end of the 3rd quarter, your offense started to come alive. You get a field goal from Miles Bergner. They answer with a field goal of their own. But then the passing game, here it is. It's something that you guys have been working on, and you really hit it hard in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Josh made some great throws. He hit Terrence Terry on a ball. The ball was in the air 60 yards. That's a long way for the ball to carry. Usually the pass is 30-yard completion and 30-yard. He just made a tremendous throw and a great catch by Terrence. Then he came back and hit Nick Meyer on a stutter go, and he was getting sacked at the time and threw a beautiful strike to Nick. So, like I said, we had 228 yards in the last 18 minutes of the game and 16 points. The guys didn't lay down. They came back and fought hard.
You guys outscore them in that 4th quarter over the final 14 minutes, 16-3. It's, as I said, just not quite enough on this day, a little bit too late for it to really come back and help you. But at the same time, maybe one of the differences from this team from maybe what we saw a year ago is that there was no rollover. They kept fighting to the very end, and something certainly to build on going forward.
Well, we came back and got home about 3 in the morning and had meetings Sunday, and you can see it in their eyes. These kids are fighting hard, and we're not done yet. We're coming into conference now, and we know what we need to work on. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, we needed to work on our punting game, and lo and behold, we come back and average 48.4 in the punting game. Still can improve on our snapping there a little bit, but we'll be there. We'll get there. We'll get a running game cranked back up, and we'll continue to throw the ball with a little bit of a flair. All
right. Well, thanks a lot, Joe, for meeting with you again. The final score 22-16 in favor of Northern Arizona. Up next, conference play, the MVFC opener this weekend coming up at Western Illinois. And for more on the Leathernecks, we're going to hear from the voice of WIU. That's coming up next on Coyote Court. And welcome back. Well, the Coyotes are set to kick off a whole new season this Saturday as they travel to Macomb, Illinois for their Missouri Valley Football Conference opener at Western Illinois. And for more on that game, we bring in the voice of the Leathernecks, Bo Spencer. And Bo, let's start with the coaching staff. There's a new man leading the Leathernecks this season in Bob Nielsen. He's, of course, a guy that a lot of people in this area are familiar with due to his days at Minnesota Duluth. But what kind of impression is he making on that program?
Oh, he's made a huge impression, not only within the athletics, the football program, the athletics department, but campus-wide. Just first off, just very personable, down to earth, and obviously he's a proven winner at every stop that he has been to, highlighted by his time in Duluth with those 2 national championships, and just the workmanlike effort as a coach along with his staff. Just really bring a business-like approach to it, and it's obvious when you see him on the sidelines, even when it was 100, 105 degrees on that hot turf. He's in black slacks, a button-up long-sleeve shirt, and a tie. So he brings that business-like approach to the sidelines and into the program.
All right, Bo, Nielsen's team off to a 2-2 start, but where are they in terms of establishing an identity?
Yeah, defense is by far the face of this program in 2013. That was something that was a very positive aspect on a not positive season in 2012, and that has really not only have we taken what we left off in 2012, but we've improved, added some pieces. One of the top teams in FCS in 4 weeks, 4 games in turnovers and takeaways. We have 11 takeaways in 4 games, had 9 in the 1 game against Hampton. So I think that's been the identity in 2013, and I think that will continue throughout the rest of the season is the strong defense.
Finally, the Leathernecks earned a hard-fought 24-17 decision in Vermillion last year, Bo. But what are you expecting to see when these 2 teams meet again on Saturday?
I think the defense is going to face a tough task in containing Vandermotten with his ability to not only pass the ball but run the ball. So I think in facing another running weapon, but that's something that Western has defended well, is against the rush. Top 20 program in rushing defense. So I think that's certainly something that Western will be able to, but obviously keep an eye out on Vandermotten from that quarterback position. And, then offensively, Western needs to continue to improve. We have a lot of young pieces on that offense with a freshman quarterback, a couple of freshman wide receivers, and a veteran backfield with a couple upperclassmen in Nico Watson and J.C. Baker. So I think, defensively holding Vandermotten in check, and then offensively continuing to build on some momentum that the Leathernecks have started out with in 4 games.
That again, Bo Spencer from the Leathernecks Sports Network. Stay tuned. Joe Glad will be back to give us his thoughts on Saturday's showdown with WIU right after this. September 11th, 2010. That's the last time the Coyotes won a road game, and Joe Glenn would like nothing more than to see that streak come to an end this weekend at Western Illinois.
It's tough to win on the road, and this will be our 10th road game in the last 15 games. We haven't played at home in the month of September. That's a little unusual, but it's our chance to go and open up the league in fashion, get a win on the road against a good football team.
The Leathernecks are 2-2 on the year after last week's loss at Nevada, Las Vegas. Kickoff between the Coyotes and Leathernecks is scheduled for 3 p.m. Saturday at Hanson Field in Macomb. And as always, Midco SN will be there. We'll be back here to break it all down for you next week on another episode of Coyote Corner.